Awesome. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Mark.
Hi,
Hi,
nice to
nice to
meet
meet
you.
you.
Too.
Hi, I'm Tony with laughingplace.com. Pleasure to meet you guys. Just kind of crammed in on America the Beautiful. What I saw, I absolutely adored.
Great.
And I got to tell you, in a little over 30 years, I won't say how many years over 30, I've lived in North America. I didn't realize how truly diverse it was. I grew up in California
Oh,
and now I live in Florida, but
Ah,
ah,
everything I like, some of it just blew my mind.
great. Well, you started in the most diverse states. That's not bad. And now you've moved to the
ah.
hottest, steamiest one. So
Yes.
you've done a bit of coverage. You've done a bit of coverage yourself. But no, you're right. It's got more habitats than any other continent on Earth, and the greatest variety, which is why it was such a treat to be asked to make a series about it. I mean,
It's like the whole planet in a continent because you've got
Yes.
and
polar bits and you've got tropical bits. So we love that.
that's right. We did Planet Earth, but now we get to do Planet Earth on one continent. So that was pretty cool.
Like you said, I lived in California, which has all the different landscapes you could think of. But as you said, there's polar bits in Alaska, and then as you also said, I'm in the tropical area of Florida, and it's still theoretically the same place. So
Amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing. And it has the other thing as well, you have not just the greatest diversity, you've got this, it all mixes. So the other thing which, we hadn't really realized before we started the series is that you also have the most extreme weather because
yeah.
those hot areas at the top or rather hot areas at the bottom and the cold areas at the top,
Mhm.
they kind of come together in the middle because your mountains all run north south and they don't stop that. In Europe, our mountains all run east west. So we don't get that mixing, but
Okay.
you get crazy mixing and crazy weather. And that, of course, shapes a lot of your wildlife, which is why it's kind of really quite tough and hardcore, not like our wildlife.
I I might have learned that in high school. I never processed that about the mountains, the north, south, east, west thing.
It makes a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Now, one thing I noted about the soundtrack was how unique it was. Can you tell me more about like the indigenous culture music and everything that we brought into that soundtrack?
Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you, Tony, for acknowledging that. We really wanted to do something different with the soundtrack. And we went to Joe Trapanese, who's a really cool composer. He's done Lady and the Tramp with Disney.
Okay.
He's done Tron. He's worked with M83. He's produced loads of bands, and he's really friendly with Bon Iver and Sean Carey. And we said, we want to have a fresher, more contemporary feel so that people will hum things will remember tunes, but it will feel kind of cooler and a bit more upbeat, and also pull in a whole range of American indigenous sort of music types. So it feels like it's a truly American score. And Joe, he works with an amazing choir in LA called Tonality, which is draws on all the ethnic groups of LA, of which there's tons.
Hmm.
So you've got this really kind of amazing choir sound in there. He's got Navajo Indian performers who bring vocals to it, but also collaborators in some of the cues. He's got Southern guitarists and composers. So we really tried to bring a flavor into that score, but make it feel not just a sort of like it's sampled bits of music types. We wanted it to feel like its own thing, which is more than the sum of those parts. So I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed. Again, I didn't get to see all of it yet, but from what I did see, I truly enjoyed. Um, One thing too I wanted to talk about was, when immediately you think of America, you might think of eagles or bears,
Yeah.
and I feel like you guys set out to show, yes, there's eagles and bears, but there's
A
so
hun-
much more.
100%. And we try to set the tone actually very deliberately right at the beginning by saying, okay, what would people expect to see? And let's do something different. So they're going to expect us to open with wolves
Mhm.
or bears.
Yeah, oh,
So let's
yeah.
open with a squirrel. But it'll be a squirrel doing something really unusual and really interesting that no one's ever seen before. And that sort of whole interaction with the black bear and the grizzly bear, and the porcupines, as it tries to sort of get ready for winter, we think ticks that box of, well, I didn't know squirrels did that. That's a lot more interesting than squirrels on the sidewalk. But I think across all of the animals that people do expect, we manage to film them differently. Whether it's bears in the swamp in Florida. You probably like that one.
The bears in the swamp had me on the edge of my seat. I did see that part. Yeah.
So, you know, people, yeah, we did bears, but we did bears like that.
Yep.
Or we did bears hunting caribou in Alaska. So it's not bears you've seen. Similarly, mountain lions, you expect mountain lions, maybe not in the Grand Canyon. You know, so the familiar stuff's done differently, but we work really, really hard to show people things that they've never seen before. You know, if it's pitcher plants eating salamanders, or if it's literally tiny oak toads going to sundews to gather ants for their meals. You know, it's things that people could actually see if they went on a walk, but probably don't know to look.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And that was the big challenge, I think, right from the beginning, when National Geographic says, how about North America? It's like, oh God, we've got to try and make this really fresh and different. And this is an outdoorsy nation full of hikers with cameras. So that's where we did a lot of our early work, didn't we, Vanessa, trying to find unusual stories.
Yes.
I'm picturing all the hikers on Instagram now, just like I saw on that show.
But that would be great. That's what we hope. You know, Americans will go out and do better than us. They'll be inspired and know, hey, we got better shots. So that's good.
If I may, the cinematography in this is beautiful. I don't think any Instagrammer could capture that. No offense to the Instagrammers out there. I know you're watching. I'm sorry. But yeah, the cinematography, there was a shot in there that like my head, and it was the dolphins with the Hollywood Hills in the background.
Oh yeah.
I know. 100% real. 100%
real. No tricksy stuff. That was
there were sometimes it was like the quick, like the flyovers of the Grand Canyon. I was like, it's National Geographic. There's no way they CG'd this. I'm gonna blame the time lapse.
No, that is basically a gyro stabilized camera on the nose of a fighter jet.
Wow. Okay.
I think we have the first permission to film below the rim of the Grand Canyon in a fixed wing plane since the 1980s.
Okay.
So we won't be going back to film that anytime soon. And I think generally the landscape is, I hope you'll agree, is filmed in a way that people will never have seen before.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I was like, how did they? I never would have guessed fighter jet. I would have guessed some kind of drone. I would maybe a chopper. Never would have guessed fighter jet.
No, I mean it's the same technology used in Top Gun, but it's the first time it's ever been used on a nature documentary. We sort of, it was one of our things to film both the landscape but also the weather, because it has amazing advantages for weather, because you can get to extreme weather really quickly. Usually we always miss it. Usually we're driving around and we always miss it. You can get to extreme weather really quickly, and then when the weather turns out to be worse than you were expecting, you can get out really quickly. So it's great for landscape and great for weather.
Now there is 5 episodes that are beautiful. They're all beautiful, but that focus more on the animals. But there's one that pops because it's about humans doing what they can to save the animals and the nature we had seen.
Yeah, that was something we feel it's really important to put. You know, we need to be put back into nature because we're part of the same system.
Yes.
And it's only by acknowledging that we share this incredible planet with animals that we're going to really do what we need to do to make sure that they don't, you know, disappear. And actually we were so inspired by, you know, what's incredible about America is that people just get out there and do stuff. They take it in their own hands. And I think we say in the show, you don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be powerful. People are really doing stuff that is making a big difference. And I think, I don't know about you, but every time I see Bernadette at the end of that show, I don't know if you've seen the end of the show, where she's the Gwich'in leader who basically changes government policy in order to protect her homeland. I'm just like, I always feel so inspired, because you go, well, if she can do it, then we all can.
She's the one who says I have a voice, it just happens to be louder than others.
Yes. She's amazing. She's amazing. But you know, the schoolgirl who's out there sort of cleaning up golf balls, and
the golf balls was my favorite.
Nice, and you just go, that's achievable. And she's made, and through her dad as well, they've made huge change and impact. So yeah, we hope people will come away feeling inspired and also amazed at their wildlife.
I think also in the body of the programs, we haven't sort of tried to sort of remove humans from everything either. I mean, so for example, we've got the bobcats that live under the disused ranch, you know, in the Heartland show, and you'll throughout the series you'll see, you know, humans are part of. We just wanted it to feel like a very modern, contemporary view of America, not like sort of museum piece locked in time.
Yeah.
Wilderness where no one goes to, you know. It's like a modern America, and I think I mean, I'd be interested to see what you thought of Michael B. Jordan, because part of that choice of making it feel sort of modern and accessible was that choice of narrator.
I did enjoy it when I first saw that he was the one doing it. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be more that angry like Creed kind of voice.
Oh yeah.
it threw into it was actually very pleasant, very surprising. Compared to what I was expecting. But I'm gonna ask you guys real quick before I wrap up here. I'm going to ask you to pick your children. What is one thing that's really you're proud of that made it into the show, the series?
Gosh.
Oh, favorite sequences, you mean?
Essentially, but like something that like means something to you too, considering the content.
I mean, for me, I think it would be some of the aerial cinematography. Probably it's probably Aurora over the top of Denali.
Okay.
Yeah, because that technologically, that's quite a feat.
That's a feat, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it has to be Bernadette, the Gwich'in lady. I think that every time you could go through a show multiple times with script and music, and every time I'd choke up at that. So it's a special moment.
Yeah. That's such a boy-girl thing. I do the tech and you go for the emotional.
Well, was the Aurora with fighter jets also by chance?
No, it wasn't by chance. No.
Okay.
By chance.
Yeah.
Was,
all of the aerials were shot from the fighter jets.
Okay, that's incredible. Again, I never ever would have guessed fighter jet with a camera strapped to it.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for your time. It was an absolute pleasure. I enjoyed it.